Hi, Dan. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Earl. I'm your tube neighbor. Let's have some coffee. Let's have some coffee and talk. You brought up that we're taught to compete, and I think that's so interesting because I've heard that a bunch of different times. So, if you could elaborate, like how were you taught to compete? How did it manifest itself? What kept you at it? Um, what were the lessons? And like, how were you taught? And then what did you learn? I guess is what I wanted to ask. Because I was exposed to competing, but I don't think I can't think of ever getting any kind of training or encouragement. It was almost kind of like it would happen naturally. I'll just put Earl on a team and let competitiveness ensue, or something like that. And so that was when I was young, and as I got older, it's like sports is almost like a religion. Um, the more I thought about it, the more sports and the more competition I realized I've been exposed to. And I sought it out myself several times. Team sports, individual sports, um, and I think the closest I came to finding a sport that was deeply satisfying and with the nature of competition was yoga. Um, Initially it was Taekwondo, but I met people that had. I like one of the major things I do not understand is if you play a game, any game, if someone's going to lose, um, unless the game doesn't involve losing at all, and the whole idea that someone would resent losing, um, even for like say like there was a like in Taekwondo you score points while fighting based on the observation of four judges, um, and some judges either don't see stuff or they don't think things count, or some things that shouldn't count they think, oh yeah, that counts, but see, because they don't talk about what they're experiencing with each other, no one ever consults with them. The center doesn't say, you do know when someone jumps up and hits the other person in the head that it's 2 points or something like that. They just kind of are, you kind of get aware that every time I jump up and hit this guy in the head, I'm in this corner. That guy never calls it. So you start putting your opponent between you and the guy that's not calling your shots. So you expose yourself to people who are scoring positively. So you adjust the system sometimes. And sometimes people, they don't get that right away. And if they start scoring points that aren't being called, and so I start opening up parts of my body so they could score on those parts that aren't getting called, and I focus on what people recognize as points in that particular ring, and I win. That guy was furious. It was the very first time someone refused to shake my hand in a competition. And part of me actually wanted to talk to him about it. It's like, well, after like your 10th or 20th punch to my side, and after 20 punches and no one ever called a point, why did you keep punching my side? I know I left my arm high up so you could get to it because no one was calling the points. So yeah, it made him angry, and I was like, I wonder, like, if we're being taught to compete, who's teaching us, and how and what are we learning? I don't know. So like until I actually started taking yoga, I realized that I'm only competing with myself. No one's ever gonna say, "Hey, dude, you're Tree of Life, man. Just don't do it. Don't do the Tree of Life. Stick to Child's Pose." Oh gosh, you're a disgrace to the yoga studio. No, everyone's like looking at you, probably thinking either, "Oh, I remember when I was that clumsy," or something like that. But no one ever says anything. You're in a yoga studio. You're all quiet and blissed out. But competing with what you could do the other day or the other month or last year. and all working to some goal of some sort of degree of health, and that might be physical or mental. Um, at first, to me, it was physical, and then at one point in time, I had in a meditation, I had this this experience I'd read about where you feel like you're asleep, except you've never been more aware. I guess that sums it up. It was tremendous. I felt completely free of my body, except aware of all the warmth of all my muscles and the sound of the breathing in the room, yet completely separate from it all. It was tremendous. So yeah, there we go. That was the competition thing that I'd love to hear more about, because it's a bit still mystifying. I guess I've never really talked about it. And the second thing you said about different types of people and putting yourself in their place and trying to understand their motives. I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to become more and more aware of people whose motives I can't deduce in any way. And then sometimes I think, well, if I can't figure out this person's behavior, what's the outcome? Like if you don't know why something's happening, you look to see what's happened. And even then, it seems utterly mystifying to me. I feel like I remember that there was a quote in No Country for Old Men, when one of the law officers was talking to another, saying like, back in the day, crimes were like this. Like you look for motive. Like now I don't know why people commit crimes now. And the guy that I wanted to talk to you about, an excellent example I was thinking of. I tried to do this earlier, talking about this guy, and I'd never told anybody my observations before, and it was my very first time vocalizing it, and I had to delete it. It was too much, but I'm glad I said it. But I'll tell you about this guy that I was aware of. He was a neighbor, essentially. He identified as a hater, and if I were to say, like, imagine in your mind someone that thinks I'm a hater and hating is good, and I want to be the best hater, combined with everything else. Like, I want a family, and I want friends, and I want to have dinner parties, and I want to have a successful career, and I want to have nice things, but a hater's got to hate, kind of thing. And what, buddy? Oh, is there a dog over there? There's a dog over there. And I watched this guy's life just disintegrate, and the entire time I was trying to think of what his motivations must be, and how did he get to the point where he thought that was good, and at one point in time, what he realized, as less and less people started coming over, as more and more people got alienated and tried to escape from his gravity well. Why did he keep it up? And that was, this guy is just one example. But I keep meeting people that are very similar. That people that have a major attribute. If you think of them like a D&D character, this would be like in the first 3 lines of describing this person, this creature's behavior. Within the first 3 lines, you read something that just makes no sense at all. It's not in their best interest. It's not in anyone else's best interest. The effect is actually to their detriment and to those around them. So why is that? Why is this a primary characteristic for this person? So how? Here's the question: how do I put myself in their place if I'm absolutely is it a lacking in imagination in me, or what are the techniques I need to where I could put myself in this hater's place? What kind of past do I need to manufacture that would justify becoming a hater? Like, an abusive household, or growing up with abusive parents, or something like that. And if this guy was always like that, how did he get all these friends and family and nice things? And was it getting all those things that brought out that hate, or was I just seeing a small chapter in this guy's life? I mean, but the guy had a bumper sticker that said, "I heart haters." I mean, he's flying his flag. Oh, well. Alright, well, Keela's whining, it's freezing cold out here, so Dan, it's a pleasure to meet you in the tubes, and yeah, I shall see you there.